great honor to be speaking here again. I'm feeling like in as many Saturdays, I have been here twice. As in, is this starting a trend, or is this what it is? Anyway, but I thank God for the privilege to be able to share with you what He's laid upon my heart today. Thank you, Pastor Chris, for just the opportunity to be here, and for the team, the Fearless Business Network Downtown chapter. Let's celebrate the team. There's a whole team that says many things to each other on WhatsApp. By the time you're seeing this happening here, there's a lot of back-end conversations that have happened, and they are not all necessarily happy conversations, but they are tough conversations because we are passionate about taking this community to a place where we begin to have some real kingdom impact. Because even ministry does what? Costs money. Even ministry does what? It costs money. I am not here alone, thankfully. The last time I was here, nilikuwa tunatembea hivi, and some people may have started to claim and wonder whether this man is alone, seeing as we are not seeing rings in his fingers. So the reason I don't wear a ring is not because we are anti-rings, but it's because in the early days of our marriage, our rings were stolen in a carjacking. And we said we will replace them when we owe no one nothing but love. So as long as you see rings still not on our fingers, you know we are still in debt. But we are working on it. Ladies and gentlemen, my amazing wife, Ruguru. She has a stand, and she's also in the oil industry. She's now making some body butter that came out of solving a problem that she had. Maybe just come and greet the people, and kidogo tu ambie what this story is about. Do not take all my time.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you all doing? So niko hapa kuuza biashara.
Hapana, kusema kwa nini hiyo biashara? Kwa nini ulianza hiyo biashara?
So I started making body butter because our second daughter Zara has eczema. So she would just get all these, her legs, the child was always in stockings because it was just bad. So I discovered shea butter. Then she said it doesn't smell nice, so she stopped using it. So I decided, okay, someone told me if you mix it with a few other oils, it smells a little better. So I made it, and then I gave the children, and I was like, use this instead of Vaseline. Then one day she's walking in the house, I'm like, wait, those legs look different. Like, I didn't even notice. I was like, wait, it works. So here we are, we have body butter. It's called Zara Skin Essentials after her. Please come to the table.
When you have the mic, you do with the mic what you can, right? So I hope nime get bonga points hapo for future. Anyway, that's a new income stream. And God is in the business of expanding our income streams. You limit yourself when you imagine that you're the only one who has to do the work. God has given you an idea. Activate the idea. The rest are stories. Hallelujah. He's not asked you to be in the business. He's asked you to solve a problem. Activate the idea. I digress. So thank you, Vanya, for sharing that. Solutions are everywhere. That's why our business is called Opportuno Consulting. And Opportuno Consulting means exactly that. Opportuno is Italian for opportunity. My father went to Italy to study telecommunications many years ago, and that's when I discovered there was a language called Italian. And Opportuno is really Italian for opportunity, and our tagline is Opportunities Unlimited. We're a business advisory and development company, consultancy, and we focus on three main areas. You can go to the three main areas. Ama it's not moving. The next one. We focus on three main areas. We really believe that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you need to go with other people. And so we are really passionate about building powerful and strong teams. Next, go to the next one. Together, everyone achieves more. Next. Why we do what we do is we believe in teams. Next. And we have three critical areas that we focus on. One is sustainable revenue generation and management. It's one thing to make money, but if you do not if you do not manage it, then you cannot grow your business or your income. The next thing, just still on the same slide, is system development and implementation, where we leverage the power of process and structure to build consistency. And we believe that many people come up with great ideas, but those businesses struggle because there's no system. So when your key staff, starting with yourself, needs to go for a trip to open new markets, the business is on standby until you come back, because there are no processes and systems. So we help set up systems and processes, and then human capital development, where we do team building, training, and coaching, which has been the bulk of what we've been doing for a while now. Thank you. Tunaweza kuachia hapo, and we go to the other one. So as you heard, we're I'm really happy to hear what you guys are talking about in terms of the Mavuno Prosperity Unit, and thank you very much for giving that background, Vania, because the Mavuno Prosperity Unit is really 3 in 1. The business school, which I lead, the business network, of which this is a part of, and the Fearless Investment Cooperative, which we will be launching soon, which will help us transition that into tangible impact in our communities. And the reason this is so is because as we've been doing ministry, it's become very apparent that we cannot do ministry without financial resources. And so when you look at the 3, go to the next, you can just flow through the prosperity unit. These are the 3 pillars, and the idea is that the least of us will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. And when you look at these, and there's a whole presentation about the different things that this space, that these different pillars operate on. And the reason this is so important is because you cannot have dominion until you have become a nation. All right? You cannot have dominion until you become a nation. And so what looks like a single broke or individual in between opportunities, hallelujah, as if Pastor Simon was telling us that I'm just in between opportunities, has the potential to become a nation, because inside of them is the seed to be fruitful, to multiply, and to fill the earth. Hallelujah. Great. So we've talked about many things, and I want to begin by continue by just asking a quick question. So what's one word that you'd use to describe, or today we are talking about the challenges, the common challenges that we face as business leaders, and how those impact the way we engage, the common challenges that we face, and we'll be looking at certain remedies that we can use to turn these things around. So breaking the barriers and overcoming common business challenges that we have, and how we can turn those around. So turn to someone next to you, and in about a minute, just find out from them, what is one word you'd use to describe doing business today? Should I add in Kenya? One word that you'd use to describe doing business in Kenya, or doing business today, preferably maybe in Kenya. Did I hear someone say where? Is that even a word? All right, let's hear some of them. Do we have another mic? Or maybe I can walk around with the one. Let's hear some of them. If you have a nice one, just raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you. Ruguru?
Extreme sport or a workout.
Extreme sport or workout. Doing business is an extreme sport or workout. Someone else? Yeah, there's a hand there. As you get to that one.
Capital intensive.
Capital intensive.
Faith testing.
Faith testing. Okay, I'm hearing phrases now. Capital intensive, extreme sport, faith testing. Yeah, there's one over there.
Tax and corruption.
Tax and corruption. Someone else? Character development. Character development. And there's one there.
Margins.
Margins. All these are words that describe how we are experiencing business today. Now, as I was thinking about this, I asked myself, what are some of the key things that every business person is likely to go through? Now, I must say that the list I've come up with is not a conclusive list. However, it captures some of the top challenges that business people face, and we'll also be looking at some of the ways that we can remedy this, and then I will sit down and shut up. All right? Great. Challenge number one. Inconsistent revenue and cash flow. Inconsistent revenue and cash flows. And because I'm learning well from our movement father and our network father, if you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, I'll not ask you to raise your hand when for the different scale, but anyone having some challenges with revenue and cash flow? You can rate how high, on a scale of 1 to 5, how high. But if you have some challenges, So revenue and cash flow. Sales cycles vary from business to business and even from season to season. And many times as business people, we have good days, but we also have some difficult days. There are days when the months are looking good. There are certain seasons when the business is looking great. Everybody seems to be looking for you. And then there are seasons when you're wondering whether the demand for your product ended. And it's important that as business people, one of the things we are constantly paying attention to is the cycles of our business. One of the things that I train in is in sales. And when we are talking about sales, we talk about prospecting. And there's something we call a prospecting strategy. And in your prospecting strategy, you're looking at different aspects. You're looking at your customer, you're looking at your market, you're looking at where your customers are found. And one of the things that you need to pay attention to is when your customers buy. All right? Looking at when your customers buy helps you plan your cash flow and your business based on how often, how regularly people buy. Now, how you guarantee your business consistent revenue is by understanding the cycles of different customers at different times and building your pipeline in such a manner that that you have cash flow or you have business coming in at different times and different spaces. So you kind of diversify your customer segments so that then you're not exposed. When one industry is low, another industry is high. So you focus your energies in that industry. However, when this industry is low, you're taking time to understand when they'll be buying next so that you're prepared for their next buying cycle and not waiting to approach them when they've already allocated their budgets. Are we on the same page? So sales cycle is critical. Now, anyone who's been in business for a while already or has just started business has experienced what we call client delays in payments. Anybody waiting for some payments right now? All right, we're going to have a prayer meeting for the unlocking of payments. I'm just kidding. Now, as these payments are being delayed, you're also having your overheads. There's your fixed costs, then there's your variable costs. All right? Your fixed costs are those costs that whether or not you're doing business, they keep coming. And this is where businesses struggle and begin to die. Your fixed costs can shut down your business before it has a chance to take off or before it has a chance to move into the next opportunities. So it's important that you pay attention to Vani, I'll poach you, by the way. Thank you so much for that. So it's important that you are paying attention to your payment cycles against your obligations. If you do not take time to do that, then you're going to have a cash flow problem. If you've not structured your cash flow, or if you do not have a financial system that helps you know when you're expecting money and when you're expected to pay out, then you're going to have a cash flow problem. It's important that as you're striking deals, that you're also understanding when these people are likely to pay. And it's at this point that I'll say you do not have to accept 15, 30, 45-day payment cycles. If they don't work for your business, they don't work for your business. Work with people who work for your business. Now it sounds a bit choosy, right? But if your business cannot afford a 45-day payment cycle, your business cannot afford it. And then there's a friend of ours who used to tell us he used to be paid by an organization that used to pay all its suppliers from 45 days onwards. He used to be paid upfront in the millions of shillings to build masts. Why? He went and told them, guys, my business cannot afford a delayed payment because I'm paying for these things you want upfront. So it's important that you're very clear about your financial cycle so that then you can put in place the right systems. Now, what is the remedy for inconsistent revenue and cash flow? Number one, build multiple income streams. All right? Proverbs talks about at least 7 income streams. Build multiple income streams and adopt a monthly revenue goal. How much do you need to make on a month-on-month basis? Do you know that number? What determines that number? How did you come up with that figure? Your monthly revenue goal. It's important that as you do this, you also offer value-based pricing. Did you know that the Mercedes that Mercedes was building is the S-Class? Every other thing was designed for all the wannabes who wanted to have a badge that looked like they were making it. Have I offended some people? The value for money is the S-Class. There's a time when they put out an ad in the papers, and this was the statement at the bottom of that ad. First, it was on the lower quarter, was it even the lower fifth of the front page of the newspaper. And it said, if you ask how much, it's not for you. The A-Class is for the person who was looking for a shopping basket, but needed it to look like it was a small car. See, that's what we call minis. It's still morning. The B class was the person who needed a Golf, but if it came with the Mercedes badge, that would be great. The C class, really what they should be getting was a Toyota, but they could afford a bit more. So they needed a sedan that can fit their family, small family. And then the E class is a little more affordable, a little more affordable than the S class, but gives you that sense of when you arrive, you look like you know what's going on. The car they were selling was the S class. Value-based pricing. Or people still want the badge, but what they really would pay for is the smaller car. So let's give them a smaller car. It's still not the cheapest, but they're looking for value. So do you have a value-based pricing for your product? I owned an S-Class at some point. It was a 1934 S-Class. The character development was real. Anyway, it was a 1984 vehicle, and it served me well for 5 years. What's the pro tip in this, on inconsistent revenue and cash flow? Do not just chase clients. Do not just look for numbers of customers. Build predictable systems and retainers. Guys, it's good to have a large customer base, but what you really need is a consistently growing wallet base. If you have one client that is constantly giving you revenue, you're better off than the person who has 1,000 clients. Because that client trusts you, they believe in you, and they are willing to grow with you. If you can increase that number to 3 or 4, that's all you need. I've had a client who had only one client for a very long time. Then I have a friend who had only one client. He's a billionaire actually. Then he went and talked to some consultants who told him, hey, my guy, you are exposed. So he went and decided to diversify, which is the industry to diversify into construction. He went into construction. This client had been paying him 3 million shillings a day. He went into construction where he had to wait for the 3 million per month, and ended up losing money. And sometimes as you're operating with divine guidance in this space of kingdom business, or as understanding your kingdom assignment, you can have one client that grows with you. I remember one time signing a contract from one client who everyone had told me, oh, you're over depending on that client. That client had sustained me for 3 years by themselves, giving me a monthly revenue of almost 1 million shillings. Direct net revenue. And then when my last contract I signed with them was a 52 million shilling contract in one contract. Trust, build clients. So don't just chase clients, build predictable systems and retainers. Challenge number 2. Challenge number 1 was inconsistent revenue and cash flow. Challenge number 2 is talent and team performance. Who's been struggling to get good help? Anyone who has tried to get good help, it's one of those that would fit in extreme sport. The good ones are stealing from you from the day they arrive, and the ones that stay don't quite deliver all the value that you need. That's what it looks like, right? But not our portion. Sindio? Great people become disengaged under poor leadership. First, it's difficult to find great people, but even great people become disengaged under poor leadership. And you'll notice that as we're talking about these things, what you really need to work on first is yourself, your perspective, how you perceive your business before you start fixing the other issues. Are you looking for good people? Number 1, are you clear about what it is you want done? Many times we go by and start by hiring people. Let's get them in, then we'll figure out what they can do. That's the wrong way to do it. Start by clarifying. What work do you need done? What's the job you need done? Then, as you're interviewing, check for whether these people can do the job. Now, many times, many people will come and say they can do the job. But then, vitu kwa ground, ni very different. Have you designed your interview process to test their capacity to do the work? Have you developed a system that helps you see them actually do the work? Nowadays, many interviews you need to come with a presentation and show us how you're going to do it. I think the era we need to move into is we need to give you a week or 2 to just show us how this work could be done differently as part of the interview process. Just some thoughts going through my mind. And that's why you find many times the best people that you'll ever have are the people you grow from within. But even those, many times we don't do a good job because we do not disciple them correctly. We come, they land, we give them the work, we expect them to deliver results. We've never trained them, we've never taught them what it is we do. We've not taught them the culture of the organization. We've not taught them how we'd like the work done and delivered. We've not taught them what excellence looks like for us or what quality looks like. And then we get surprised when they give us below par work. Discipleship is about taking time with them. The onboarding process is about taking time with them to ensure that they've grasped what it is we need to develop. Guys, people don't come ready-made. You have to craft them for what it is you want them to do. Even where they've come with the bare basic experience that you require, the thing you need to do is teach them the culture. Teach them what it is and how it is you want them to deliver, because you're the visionary. You have to cast vision, and after casting vision, you must then engage them closely so that they are able to deliver for you the value you want delivered exactly the way you want delivered. John Maxwell talks about the five levels of leadership, and it's everything from people follow you because you're the boss, to how you equip people to lead by preparing them, developing them, teaching them how it is done, letting them do it, and then releasing them and giving them authority to go and deliver. It's a discipleship journey. Currently, we are redevising our model to then include interns, where we get them as interns from scratch, and we build them to grow with the organization. So when I'm looking at someone to hire, I'm not looking at someone to hire to stay with us for 5 years. If they only stay for 5 years, that's great. But I'm looking for someone who in future will be leading one of our conglomerates somewhere in the world. That's what I'm looking at the onset. I'm looking for a certain attitude. I'm looking for a certain DNA. I'm looking for a certain approach towards doing the work we need to do. So I'm not just looking for an employee. I'm looking for someone we can adopt into sonship or a daughter. Some remedy: clarify the roles, build culture intentionally, invest in training, and use coaching conversations, not just instruction. Do you know where your people want to go? Do you know what it is they're about? Part of the interview process must be, where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now? And it's not so that you can dump them, it's just so that you can know how you're going to guide them through that journey. If they have the DNA or the seed for the kind of people you want working in the organization, then you can work with that. But beyond that is knowing what exactly, where do they see themselves? Do they just want to come and make money, or do they want to build something that lasts? Number 1 was inconsistent revenue and cash flow. Number 2, talent and team performance. People don't leave bad jobs. They leave poor managers and leaders. Again, working on yourself. Are you the kind of leader that people want to follow? Challenge number 3 is market visibility and competition. Do people know that you exist? For a very long time, our business grew from referrals, and we've enjoyed good money from referrals. But is it enough? COVID taught us a lesson or two, because a lot of so for the longest time, our business was driven by where we were delivery partners for other training companies. And then we realized that as we deliver, it was the easier way to do our business. And sometimes we are busy doing the hard thing. But we realized our people knew us through our businesses, through the businesses we were working for, But the people we engaged with loved our work. So why weren't we able to turn this into real work? And the answer came to that we were not visible enough for people to access us directly. We came under another brand, which was not a problem. It gave us good money, but that's not what God had called us to. I registered Opportuno Business Concept in 2008 in disobedience, because it should have been registered as a limited company. But I looked at the money I had and said, see, we first started as a business name to minimize our exposure. That's why I say I registered it in disobedience. Because the clarity I had was register a business that can help businesses generate revenue in 2008. In 2020, we turned it into a limited entity, hence Opportuno Consulting Limited. Became a limited entity in 2020. We were doing this huge project since 2019 that was paying us millions of money. And we registered in November of 2020, we registered, and in March of 2021, we were justifying why we were the ones who were given this contract. So many millions being given to us without paying any bribes. Had we been a business name, we would have automatically been thrown out of that project. And so we did it for another year because we were a limited entity. Is your setup correct for the kind of business that you're trying to do? But more than that, are you visible? Can people find you when they look for you? It's very possible that many of you have already looked online to check out what else I'm doing, right? Since I stood up here. When I hear your name and Google you, can I find you? Can I find your business? Can I find what it is that you are doing? No matter how good your product is, if the market doesn't know that you are there, you are invisible, and so they cannot give you business. But more than that is attending sessions like this. How many people have you met today? For those who've already come for 2 sessions, how many other people have you met with and engaged with? Networking forums, spaces where you can pass out your merchandise, opportunities like Soko, where you can actually get people to see your business. No matter how good your product is, if the market doesn't know you, you are invisible. In Matthew, Jesus talks about not hiding the light under a bowl. It must be put out for others to see. That is talking about marketing and visibility. Build a personal brand, tell stories of transformation, and build content, because that content becomes your currency for new and growing business. Be known for something that you do well, and become trusted for many things. Be known for one thing, but become trusted for many things. Once you've gained the trust of your customer, you can become their solution provider for every challenge they have. I don't know anyone who's found themselves in that place where your customers are constantly asking, do you know someone? Because they trust you. They believe your word. You have already offered them good service. Be known for one thing, but be trusted for many things. And that aligns with our multiple income streams. Just because you're generating multiple income streams does not mean you're the one who has to deliver the service or the product all the time. Challenge number 4 that business leaders go through is decision fatigue and burnout. Decision fatigue and burnout. Many executives are caught up in the trap of the CXO, where X is any other letter you'd want it to be. CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CIO, Chief IT Officer, COO, Chief Operations Officer, CFO, Chief Finance Officer, all in the same person. Hence, your office is like the presidency. It is many offices in one. And this many times leads to decision fatigue and burnout. We call it the founder's trap. Robert Kiyosaki says that one of the things that kills businesses is the business owners themselves. And many of our businesses struggle to grow because we will not let them grow. Holding them too tightly that no one else can take anything. And if you catch yourself in the founder's trap, it's not just in your business, it's probably in everything else that you do. Whether it's your DG, discipleship group. So it has not grown into a zone, into an MC. It has not multiplied into a zone. And so many of our businesses have remained small. Nina shout. Yeah, speaking to myself also. Dominion comes when you let go of the seed so that it can die and multiply. And that's not to say that quality might drop for a moment. If you taught them right, if you onboarded them correctly, then the drop will not be so significant. If you delegate decision making and bring people to a place where you collectively make decisions, then you may get more innovative and creative values. If you prioritize return on investment, and I dare also add their return on effort, where for everything you do to allow it to generate even more return, it has to stop being just about you and what you can do. And many of us are unable to transition beyond our current positions of leadership because it still completely depends on us. One of the things that we must learn to do is to allow others in and to let the vision out. Share it with a few more people. Let them interpret it as they understand it. Of course, making corrections and adjustments, and then let them run. And that's why the vision must be put up somewhere so that others can see it and run with it. Habakkuk 3. One of the challenges of founders is not being able to say no. One of the key things the founder must learn, or the business owner, or the business leader must learn, is to say, not now. It's not that I won't do it, I can't do it. I just can't do it now. Sometimes that means that because I can't do it now, if it's so urgent, then someone else can do it. And because I can't do it, and if I can't do it and someone else cannot do it, then it's probably not for me. And that's how you begin to determine what's important and what's a priority for you. A powerful one. Are you looking to grow your business and to scale your business? You don't scale by doing more. You scale by letting go. And so even in the conversations that we've been having, Jesus could leave after 3 years of ministry because he let it go to another 12, another 70, another 150, another 500. The only way the seed becomes more seeds is when it is let go, so that it can get into the ground and die. If it remains yours and yours alone, if it remains about you, then it will not grow. So back to the beginning. What was number 1? Inconsistent revenue. And we've talked about all the things you need to do around there. The number 2, talent and team. Number 3, and number 4. I want to touch a bit on that competition thing. How you create, there's abundance. There's a lot of opportunity that you can take advantage of. And how you create that abundance is by asking yourself, who are my non-customers? Many times you're looking at what others are doing and how we can get a share of that. But how about if you could increase the size of the pie instead of getting a share of the existing pie? And who are your non-customers? The people who could use this product but haven't started using it yet. One of my favorite brands is a great expert at doing this. Coca-Cola. Who's the target market for the 2-liter Coke? Families. Who especially in the family? Kids. Why? It's a lot of soda. But who do they sell it using? Moms. Because if the kids can't buy soda, but if the moms start putting Coke in the middle of the table alongside with every meal, the kids will have Coke in their fridges for the rest of their lives when they can finally afford it. Non-customers. The people who could use this product but are not using it yet. Sometimes they don't even know that they need to start using it. God opened my eyes to a new model of doing business. Many times we look at the person who can pay for what we are consuming. All right? And we target our products or offerings based on who can pay. The space we are moving into now, the person who delivers the service or the product, the person who needs the service and the product, and the person who can pay are 3 different entities. The person delivering the product delivers to the person who needs it, and someone else pays the person delivering the product for their services at or above market rate. And so I do not sell trainings to individuals, even though I know individuals need them. I sell my trainings to companies that are chasing large training projects. Because once they get the money, they pay me on time, without drama. They can chase the client. The impact on the individuals is somebody else's business. Me, I came in, I delivered, and I got paid. It's really about understanding who needs what I need, who's really interested in them getting what I'm providing. And that way, you look at a tripartite arrangement as opposed to the people I want to serve can't pay what I'm offering or what I'm asking for. And so you begin to unlock new spaces for new revenue. I don't know what that product of yours is. I don't know what that service of yours is. Look at your non-customers if you're looking to open new markets. I have a question for you that you discuss with one or two other people next to you. What's one major challenge that you've faced in your business in the last 6 months? How did you respond to it? And what might you do differently now? What's one major challenge that you faced in your business in the last 6 months? How did you respond to it? And what would you do differently based on what we've shared today or what you've been learning? It could have been something you've learned beyond even today. So let's share for just about a few minutes. So you want to get into it as quickly as possible. We don't have too much time, so that then I can also be a good steward of the time and opportunity that has been given to me. All right, let's listen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm in the HR world, and with Pastor CJ, we do similar things like trainings. And I would attest to the fact that it's true, when I'm looking for business, I walk into the individual organizations. And when I talk to them, they will first of all want to tell you how the economy is. Our government has done the thing. And therefore, Matthew, I can't afford you. But then these guys, you realize, just like what you said, Pastor CJ, I will forget everything you say today. But I'll remember that last part that you said. That there are giants like Pastor CJ who's traversed the training environment, and therefore he knows the ropes. What if then I plug in? And I was just telling my team here that just picking up from what you said, I've talked with organizations. For example, I've walked into Kim and told Kim, how can I be of value to your organization? And they gave me an email address, but I've not followed up. I need to follow up, because there is a platform Kim can give me to offer my services. As I build my profile, I'm also offering value out there. Then you said something about visibility. These people that I'm training in that hall will definitely know that I exist. So therefore, this is something that I want to pick up immediately as a solution, that I need to follow up on those emails. I was also with CHRM the other time, and I asked them the same question. How can I be of value to CHRM? Yeah, so Pastor CJ, thank you for that. I think that is the game changer for me, and I'm happy that I came. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Definitely keen on working with you. Anyone else want to share something? So I'll also use this moment maybe to open the floor for some questions. Then we'll begin to land this plane. Questions, comments, thoughts?
So my question is, in getting talent hiring, for let's say when you have a client, you've worked with the client. So when you are if you send a representative now to go and to talk to the client, and there's a disconnect between the client and the person you sent. So how do you handle such a scenario?
Are you the founder of your business?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things, thanks, it's a very interesting question that we learned. I think there's a question. Jose, you have a question? Okay. So Andreas, I think Jose is trying to catch your attention. So one of the... we were talking about this a little earlier with some two gentlemen that we were networking with before the session started. One of the things that I believe is so profound about what we are currently doing at Mavuno Church is our discipleship conversations. When you're a founder, you're attending, remember you're CXO. So you're attending all the meetings, you're the one who does all the emails, you respond to all the clients. And what discipleship is teaching us is the only way this thing is going to grow is if you begin to bring in other people. And one of the easiest ways, John Maxwell talks about, take them with you to meetings. Go with them. That from the initial meeting, let people see there's other people besides yourself. When you're promising to respond, so you'll say you'll receive an email from CJ. CJ, you'll send the email to the client so that they begin to realize that you trust this person that you've come with to do the work. When calls come in, let these people, you can receive the calls, let these people also begin to engage with the clients. And what that does, it begins to build confidence in the client's mind, because what the client sees is what they get. You came, you did the first meeting. You came, you did the pitch. You came, you've answered all the questions. You're the one who's answering all the emails. Clearly, it's you we need to be talking to. So why am I talking to someone else? And one of the ways of building the capacity, even the confidence of your team, is beginning to do these things with them. John Maxwell breaks it down in this way. He says, number one, you do, they watch. Number two, they do, you guide. Okay, they're doing, but you're there walking with them through it. Number three, they do, you watch. Then you discuss what it is that they did, what you observed, what they learned. And then number four, they do. You're now ready to let them go, and they can come back for coaching and consultation every so often. If you have not taken time to build the confidence of your people, it will become very difficult for your customers to trust them. So you're building first confidence in them, but you're also building confidence in the customers that you have the right people working with you. Regardless of their age, how they look, their size, you trust them to deliver. And that's how you begin to build confidence in your team. But the only way you can be confident and trust that they can deliver is if you've taken time to build them and to grow them. You've trained them. You know what their output looks like. And it's not that when you're saying, I'm going to be away, so you dump everything on them and hopefully they survive and swim. No, it's where you take them through a deliberate process of building their capacity. And that's how you build strong teams that you can later send on to take charge of business. Yeah. Great. Any other question? One question over here. Maybe that will be our last one, and then we can transition into the next thing. But of course, we'll be around to still have more conversations during the breaks and even beyond.
Hi, my name is Joanne Carey from Mavuno Church downtown.
Yay!
I have my business is in consulting, so supporting governments in developing policies, like as a technical advisor, or supporting NGOs or private businesses in figuring out how do they engage government. So my question is, how do you move from the space of pitching? And because it's a service, there's it's not enough to tell the client that this is what I do. So there's that process of building the trust to saying, okay, we have reached, I charge for these services. Yeah. Because they'll explain, we need this service, we need that. Then the moment you're like, I need to charge for this, because now it's like you're doing the work for free. So how do you convert that? How do you have that conversation? How do you convert that without necessarily losing the client?
Okay. Yeah. So two things I hear there. So number one is how do you move it from pitching? People buy from people they know. Okay? So how do you then be the person they know if they are meeting you for the first time? Is beginning by building a relationship. How do you then build a relationship with somebody you're meeting for the first time? Is taking time to understand their unique challenges and needs. Anytime you take time to understand, as this person is pouring out their heart to you about their challenges, there is transfer and connection that is taking place. And that then puts you ahead of everyone else who's going to come after you to try and do the same thing, of which many people will not, unless they've been in this session. One of the ways that you win the customer is by taking time to really unpack what their challenges and needs are. That effort is so painstaking, but by the time that process is done, the customer believes that they have given you everything you need to deliver. Now, in between that time, whether it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes, or you had lunch somewhere to just understand them and get to know each other better, as you're taking that time, and it doesn't have to always cost money. It doesn't have to always cost. It can be a virtual session. The people who've done business with people across the seas by just virtually, but building a relationship, deliberately showing that you care. One of the reasons people will struggle to give you their measure of value, their money, is because they can't still see the value that you're bringing. But do you know what value is? Translating the customer's problem in a language that's a solution. You're representing their problem to them, but now from the solution side of it. You've just flipped. It's like flipping the mirror. And as long as they can hear their problem being solved, then they'll respond with a measure of value. Anytime you're struggling to bill, anytime you're struggling, you're haggling about price, is because the value is not yet clear. Because when the value is clear, people will pay money. So the same person who's telling you, oh, I can't see value, is spending a lot of money on something else. Clearly, they are seeing value in that. And so it's asking yourself, what does this person perceive as value? I always use one of the most expensive gadgets on the planet. Some of the phones that we have, right? There's a line when it's being launched. Why? Perception of value. Yet one person is buying it for the camera. Someone is buying for the security, no viruses. Someone else is buying for status. All these people are perceiving value. The question is, have you connected with what they perceive as value? And that means taking time to hear them talk about what their problems are and what their perception of value is. Yeah. If you go to your solution before you've understood the problem, then they will not buy, or they'll struggle to exchange. Yeah. The place you want to get is the place where after you're done talking, they're like, okay, so when do we start? Where do we sign? How much is it going to cost? You want them to come out with that conversation. When you get there, you've achieved what we call business zen, because then you're no longer selling. Your customers are buying. Yeah. It's a great place to be. I hope I've answered your question. Yeah. All right, so we can have more conversations around this, but I want to leave you with an assignment. We're calling it the challenge audit. And I want you to reflect and write down one challenge that you've avoided or have been avoiding that needs attention. One challenge you have avoided or have been avoiding, and it needs attention. Then one step that you can take this week to face it. One step that you can take this week to face that challenge. And then number 3, what help you might require to solve that challenge. And here I'll say, block out at least 1 hour in your calendar every week. In addition to this, block out at least 1 hour in your calendar every week, which we'll call the CEO time. And this will be your time to work on your business, because most of the other time you're working in your business. So that's your assignment. That one you'll do beyond here. We can't speak for 50 minutes and then you go out and there's nothing to do, Cindy. All right. Great. So are we transitioning to that other thing? Okay. All right.
Please help me thank Pastor CJ for this great session, great conversation. Yes.